Alright, so we are done with this side of the farm where we were learning about mint. Now we are in a totally different part of the farm. Na hapa tuko na
rosemary at the border. Hapa ndani tuko na tarragon.
Tarragon.
Yes.
So why are we having rosemary on the border?
At this point it's acting as a repellent to pests like thrips, aphids from entering the tarragon block.
Meaning hata kwa shamba yangu ingine ambayo I have something totally different, different fruits ambazo sana sana they'll be attacked by thrips. I can put rosemary as the border. Inasaidia
kurepel some pests. Then imeenda over the board, you use the chemicals.
Right, but at least it controls to some extent. So also you've mentioned chemicals. Na unajua hizi ni vitu ambazo kama nikichukua hii rosemary siendi kuipika.
True.
As is naenda kuweka kwa nyama kama ni kwa chai. So they are consumed raw. Meaning we have to be very careful with what chemicals we use. So what measures do you put in place to make sure at least what the consumer is getting is something that is fit for their body?
For us, we are exporting through other exporters, so we have to check on our MRL issues that the chemical we are spraying is going as per the EU standards. So we go and check the chemical that we've bought, is it on the EU standards, then we can proceed. That's one thing. On spraying, we also check on the PHI, the pre-harvest interval. Whereby when you harvest, when you spray a chemical of 7 days, you must ensure within that 7 days, you don't harvest. Until it finishes on the chemicals.
Alright, so we have different herbs as we have seen in this farm. Hapa tayari tunaona rosemary, tumesema inaitwa tarragon, tumeona mint, and there's still more, na kuna basil as much as it's not grown here. Ukiangalia demand, international market, because I know that's where we take most of our herbs to, ile inaitishwa sana sana kwa soko ni gani?
Rosemary. Rosemary watu wengi wanajua. Even the local people wanaijua. International people pia wanatumia sana. Rosemary and also tarragon, people are also coming to it. Like they are being introduced to it slowly. But for now, like kama tarragon, watu wanaanza kukuwa introduced to it. Pole pole. But rosemary, watu wanaijua.
So the local demand and the international demand for rosemary is very high. Alright, tunataka kuelewa kupanda rosemary, tunataka kuelewa kupanda tarragon. Is it the same procedure as the other side? Let's start with the rosemary.
For rosemary, tunatumia cuttings. Same na mint. Tumeangalia on the other side. Bado tu nakuja kukata tu the tip hapa. The same way. Si unatoa sasa hii bado. Kama tu venye tumefanya kwa mint, you do it.
So no runners for the rosemary?
No.
Meaning this has to go to the nursery?
Yes.
Still, we have to use the roots?
The same process that we had done it in the mint.
Alright.
Yes.
Na kwa ule ambaye hana hiyo root na wanapanda tu kwa nyumba?
Kama hawana rooting hormone? Kuna farmers wanafanya, but sasa hiyo ni maybe wewe unataka kupanda rosemary moja yako ya kukunywa chai. But if you want
for commercial purposes,
you have to go that way.
Alright. So you dip this into the rooting hormone and then now you put in your cocoa pits. And then it will take how long until it's ready?
Let's say roughly a month.
Alright, so when we come to the farm, wakati wa kuipanda, of course again raised bed. Spacing inakaje?
Spacing ya rosemary kuna 45 and there is 60. For this hours unaangalia unaona kama hii tulitumia 45. But you can also use 60. So like for these two drip lines we are using 45. But when it come to a third drip line hapa ndani unaweka sasa hii si ni 45 sasa unatumia ya 60 sasa kupea space.
From here to here 45. Here to here
45.
At what point do I make it 60?
At the initial point, when assuming you want to add 3 drip lines in a bed. Kwa sababu kama hii size unaona haiwezi enda zaidi ya 2 drip lines. But kama uko na bigger space, you can add that ya katikati na uweke sasa 60. Yes.
Ispesiane. Ndio isikue 45 hapo zote zimeshikana.
Zishikane for the purpose of spraying, other activities like weeding. Ikupe chance.
Right. So if you're going to have 3 drip lines, one of the drips hiyo ya katikati
itakuwa
60.
Yes.
All right. So 45 for normal planting.
Yeah.
Like if you have the excess extra drip, 60.
Yes.
You're able to now start harvesting after how long?
Hata 3 to 4 months is okay, but unaangalia na length venye unahitajika na client wako.
And you will harvest for how long before you have to replant again?
Hiyo 2-3 years for all herbs, 3 years with a good management practice. Inaenda hata for long.
Explain your good management practice.
Number 1, as a farmer, kila tu asubuhi, you have to check your crops. Are your crops smiling? At times unaweza pata your crop is not smiling. In the morning, umekuja tu your own rounds of monitoring. Naangalia my crop is not doing well. Number 1, you check. Maybe it has pests. Feeding, fertilizers, hiyo CAN, NPK, iko aje. Hiyo ni feeding. Umeenda pest, umeenda feeding, una irrigation. How is the irrigation? Maji inapata vizuri, hivyo sasa. So in that tukua unaenda tu ukicheck like for us unakuwa na maybe weekly spray kama iko na pest ama haina unaicheck.
Right. Yes. What are some of the challenges unaweza sema mmepitia from being herbs farmer?
First ni pest and diseases, haiwezi kosa. Unaweza kuwa na disease in a certain block, you control, you continue with business. Apart from that, kuna sasa kama wakulima wenye wanaanza, wanataka kujiestablish, kuna mambo ya challenge ya market. Kwa sababu mtu anataka kufika majuu na kuna hii manzia yenye hapo katikati kuna mambo mengi. So there is certifications, there is know-how, ujui hata what you can do. That is it.
Tutafanya nini tuanze kupatia herbs local market? Kwa sababu najua it's not easy for any farmer aingie kwa herbs na kesho ashaanza kupeleka Europe. It's hard.
Yes.
So ukipanda hivi kama venye mmepanda hivi na mkose market ya nje, what happens?
Every farmer anakuja akijua I want to go to the exporter international. That is where we want, the aim. But in an instant whereby sasa hujafikia hapo, that is where, like us, we have now the value addition.
Right.
Sometimes you have a crop which is overgrown, na hauna pa kupeleka, you now harvest it and you take it to the value addition.
Right.
Apart from that, you can also sell to the local exporters who are reliable.
So kama mtu hajafanya hiyo mambo ya value addition, it's very possible your herbs could go bad.
Yeah.
Kuna wakulima ambao wamesema the middlemen hapo katikati sometimes
wanacheza kama hao.
Wanafanya ile kitu Is it true? Is that something that you have experienced? Kwa sababu lazima upitie mtu hapo katikati for you to be able to export. Is that a real problem that you're facing?
Yeah, it is real. Especially if you get whereby now you are selling it to the local exporters. Mtu anaweza kuwa anakuchukulia, tuseme hii rosemary anakuchukulia na shilingi 10. Yeye ni anaenda kuuza na 15. Can give an example. So you as a grower, broker amechukua the largest percentage, but you as a grower umechukua the smallest percentage.
Talk to us about those prices. Are they the same? Rosemary itaenda for how much when you're selling to these exporting companies? Kama ni mint, na inaenda kwa kipimo gani? Unapima aje? Ebu help us understand those costings.
Tarragon is a different in pricing. You can range of for selling to the local exporter, a range of 400 to 450 per kg.
And in one harvesting cycle kama hapa unaweza pata kama kgs ngapi?
For this it can reach half a ton.
Half a ton. That's about 500 kgs.
Yeah.
And 1 kg is going for 400.
Yeah.
That's some good money.
But for the brokers are eating even more than you.
They're getting more than
umekasirika hapo sana.
So that is the costing for the tarragon.
Yes.
So when it comes to the rosemary, bei yake when you're selling to the local exporter, how much will it go for?
250 to 300.
A kg as well. And the mint?
For the mint is 250 to 300, the same to thyme and rosemary.
So the tarragon
is the one.
Why? Is it, si watu wengi wanaipanda ama is it very complicated to grow it? Why is it the one that is spiking very high prices?
Watu wengi hawapandi moja na iko delicate. Like hata ukishika kama hii, naona iko very, ukiangalia hii ukiexpose kwa jua kidogo ishalala.
So when it comes to rosemary, when it comes to tarragon, climate ambayo na favor the growth of this ni gani?
Pia hii ni cool, but sasa kwa sababu you want to plant the crop. And hauna hiyo environment. So you have to provide a micro one for it.
So we have come to also now a different part of the farm.
Yes.
Hapa kuna a totally different herb which we are calling the thyme.
Yes.
All right.
The winter thyme.
Oh, this is particularly the winter thyme. Yes. Meaning kuna thyme mingine.
Yeah, kuna thyme mingi.
But the one that you're growing here is the
winter
thyme. You umesema bei
250 to 300.
250 to 300 a kg.
Yeah.
How do we grow this?
You are doing it the same way, cutting bado.
Oh, pia hii ni cutting. So for runners is only
mint.
the mint.
Yes. So unakuja tu bado. Ayonda tu still.
So you clear, and then we'll go and dip this into the rooting hormone. Tuipeleke kwa nursery.
The same process.
So that works for all the other herbs except for the
mint has an option of runner.
So the demand for thyme?
For thyme is fluctuating. Times in a period whereby we have some other seasons that they need a lot of thyme. At times inapungua. Na kama sasa wenye tunasemanga a situation like Mother's Day, like kama Idil Filtri, yani occasional. Kuna sometimes there are some people who are doing it like Dubai.
But so far you can say the growth of herbs is beneficial.
Yeah.
Ebu help us understand, kule kijana ambaye anakusikiza, what are those benefits of being in the herbs agri-sector?
What I can tell, especially the young men, for herbs, ni ukulima yenye ukikuja, ukipata the market vizuri, it's a good business. So, mi ninge encourage any person who wants to be introduced to this ukulima. You first know the right way, know the right things to do. You'll have to know the variety you need, one. Number two, you know the water system, uwe na maji for ukulima, ujue drip line unatumia, ujue the market. Kuna mambo mengi unafaa kujua before entering to the herbs sector.
Thank you so much, Mercy, for speaking to us and taking us around the farm. Tumeona mint, tumeona rosemary, tumeona tarragon, na tumeona thyme. Asante sana. So what we're going to be doing later, still in this farm, we will be harvesting, and at the same time tutafanya mambo ya value addition. Umepanda minti yako vizuri, umekosa soko, badala uache yaribike, what can you do to continue making money as you wait for the market? That and more will be studied right here on Kenya's Gold. And we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Today we are learning so much about Matters Herbs. So for the first two parts of the show, tumekuwa pale kwa shamba with Mercy Koech, a very young herbs farmer here in Kenya. And for the next part of the program, which we will continue with next week, we will be doing the process of harvesting. We will be satisfying the order that we have from a client. So mtaona hiyo process, order ya client ilikuwa inakaa aje, and how do you harvest, and also how do you package, and the value addition aspect of it as well. Now I want to answer some of the questions that you've sent across our social media platforms, but before we get there, wacha tuzungumze na mkulima mmoja wa herbs, Mr. John Paul, who's joining us on call today. John Paul, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Gina. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. You are a herbs farmer. Umekuwa ukifanya hii kazi for quite some time, so we believe you have the right information for us. Tungependa sana kusikia kutoka kwako, just to be sure, which are those herbs that you need to make sure you grow them in a greenhouse, and which are those ones that can do well in open field. So sana sana tunaambiwa mainly it's the basil that requires the greenhouse. Is that true? Are there other herbs that will give you optimum production only in a greenhouse?
Yes, actually, very, very true. Basil is the best one used that we grow in greenhouse. Then there's one, tarragon sometimes can also do for greenhouse, or you can do outfield, tarragon. Then we have one called cilantro, also, but not mostly grown in Kenya. Cilantro also you can also do in greenhouse.
All right. Great. So when we're talking about international market, tumesikia sana wakulima wa herbs, your target is the international market. Which are those markets that we focus on? Which countries are these?
Yeah, for the international market, actually, because for herbs actually, Kenya, not so much, people don't consume herbs. So whenever you're growing herbs, you do it for international market. And for the outfit ones, like thyme, rosemary, mint, tarragon, sage, these are mostly, and the basil in the greenhouse, mostly we export to Europe and Middle East.
All right.
So mostly Europe and Middle East, that's where there's market for the fresh herbs.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So we understand our export market mainly is Europe and Middle East. Just to pick your brain, have we been affected now that we understand there's the geopolitical war happening across the world, US, Israel, Iran war, and we're exporting a lot of our herbs to the Middle East? How have you been affected? If you compare the other years and now, how is the demand looking like? Export business in Akaje? Just help us understand if you're affected at all.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the challenges tumekuwa nayo since the war began, like now almost a month ago. When the war began, the export was good. We'll get orders from France, orders from Netherlands, we'll get orders from Dubai, from Qatar, UAE. But then when the war began, first ilianza na planes, actually airplanes zilianza kukatisha, stop the moving. So we've had issues where buyers now, they want the herbs, but we can't export because there are no flights. So flight challenges has been one of the challenges tumekuwa nayo in exporting our herbs this season past, the last 1 month, since the war ilianza ya Iran. Then imekuwa to an extent where we've gotten, we've lost quite a number of fresh herbs. So now we had to think about how do we do it.
All
now
right.
Trying to dry it, that has been an option.
All right.
But the challenge was you want to export is an order, then wrap up. There's no flight in imekuwa shida, so the war has brought a lot of challenges.
All right.
The effect has been very negative.
Okay. Thank you so much, John Paul, for clarifying that. And I'll be linking up with you very soon in the farm utueleze zaidi kuhusiana na herbs. Thank you so much, John Paul.
Actually, yeah. Thank you so much too.
All right.
And so happy to talk about herbs.
Yes, I'll be in your farm very soon. Asante sana.
Karibu sana, because the venture is good, very profitable. If you do it well with good management, so you're so much welcome to come and see what we are planting at our farm.
All right. Thank you so much, John Paul. You have yourself a fantastic evening. All right. So there you go. Tumembiwa, our market entirely focuses on Europe and Middle East. And then the tarragon, the basil do very well in a greenhouse. Now, as we wrap up this conversation, let's look at some of the questions coming in across our SMS line 22422. Thank you so much, first of all, for watching and sending in your questions. So we'll be responding to a few questions. We have one. Kuna mtu hapa anauliza, is managu a herb? No, we do not categorize managu as a herb. Managu tunai-categorize as an indigenous crop, indigenous vegetable. So managu is not a herb, it's an indigenous vegetable. Thank you so much. Alafu kuna mwingine anauliza, what is the demand of herbs locally? So far, not so good. We are not very big consumers of herbs. Mostly people target the international market. There's a lot of exporting companies that focus on that, and we are taking it to the Europe and the Middle East. Locally, the consumption is not yet very good, but we have herbs such as mint and rosemary that are doing well in the local market. And then one last question as we wrap up. Kuna mtu anauliza, what is a herb? Please explain to me. So a herb is this, what you're seeing here, a non-woody plant, all right? A very soft non-woody plant. If you look at its stem, it's also green, non-woody. The only woody, except for something like a rosemary, that's the one that you can say it has a woody stem. So these are very soft non-woody plants whose leaves are used either for garnishing food, for fragrance, or for medicinal purposes as well. So they are non-woody, very soft plants used for garnishing food, fragrance, and medicinal purposes as well. And with that, we've come to the end of our program today. Thank you so much for watching Kenya's Gold. Next week, we'll continue with our journey on herbs farming farming in Kenya. We will be harvesting, all right? And we will be packaging, value adding, and servicing orders from clients. Until tomorrow, have yourselves a fantastic evening. My name is Violetta Ngina. Goodbye.